If you want to think faster, but still speak clearly and with confidence, then first you need to stop fighting the anxiety when you speak. Now, when I was presenting podcasts and shows for huge UK brands or just interviewing strangers in public, I used to dread it for the entire day. As soon as I'd wake up, my hands would be shaking, my heart would be beating, and I'd just be thinking in my head of all of the things that could go wrong. And the story that I was telling myself was that this wasn't normal. That this should be easy, that I shouldn't be feeling these nerves. But let me tell you the truth, and the thing that completely changed my mindset. You need to stop avoiding the anxiety and instead lean into it. Embrace the nerves. Give yourself some respect. What you're doing is hard. It's scary. So don't feel weird that you're feeling these nerves, because that is completely normal. You're doing something that most people don't have the courage to do. But as long as you go up there and give it your best, it's completely okay that you feel these nerves and you feel that your hands are shaking and your head's trembling. Now, number 2, if you want to become a more confident speaker, then you need to speak what you observe. Now, running out of things to say in a conversation isn't actually our problem. Because if you think about it, our mind is processing so much information every single second. Looking around you, your eyes are processing all of these things, you're having all of these thoughts. We just don't speak them aloud. And that's because for some reason we build a wall between ourselves and the other person, and we just leave a little small hole for just maybe 0.1% of our words and our thoughts to actually go through that wall and to the other person. Okay? So our goal with this is to stop filtering our thoughts so much. We want to open that circle of the wall to allow more thoughts and speak more to the other person about what is on our minds and what is being observed around us. So when you're next running out of things to say in a conversation, I want you to quickly think about this. I want you to observe something around you. Get rid of that filter. Widen that hole in that wall. Don't stop yourself, and before you have time to even think about stopping yourself, just say it. Train your brain more often to just remove that filter, and as soon as you think about something, say it. Number 3, if you want to have more time to think and be able to think more clearly in a conversation, I want you to start doing something I like to call headline first speaking. Now, when someone asks you a question, maybe this is a hard question, maybe you need a bit more time to think about it, whatever it is, I want you to start off by responding to that question with a little statement before actually giving your answer. For example, so how do you know the groom? Now, this speaking rule is going to help you with 2 things.
It's actually a really funny story.
First, you sound more confident because you're sharing a bit more of your personality, which people of course love. And secondly, the most important one in my opinion is that it gives you a bit of extra time to think about and process the information about what you're going to say next when you're responding to that person's question. Now, this can be great in job interviews and especially hard conversations when you need a bit more time to think.
So how do you best describe yourself at work? Ooh, that's a fantastic question, thank you.
And you can also use this headline to even tease a story that you're about to tell, to make the other person engaged in what you're saying and want to listen to your story.
I need to tell you the story about how I almost got lost in Thailand.
Now, it's funny because while I'm telling you these headlines, my mind is always thinking about what I'm about to say next. So I've got those extra couple seconds just to build the perfect answer in my mind before I speak. Number 4, ask instead of argue. Now, when you hear something or someone says something you might not agree with, like for example, your missus says to you that you haven't been spending enough time with her recently, our first instinct is to react.
That's not true. No, you're wrong.
To argue back. And as soon as that happens, then the conversation is no longer about connecting with you two, and it turns into a big debate which you both didn't ask for. Now, that's not a conversation. A conversation should help you understand each other's perspectives and reconnect the two of you. So next time you might hear something that somebody says that you might not necessarily agree with,
You haven't been giving me enough attention.
Instead of reacting, just slow down and ask,
I'm sorry, what makes you think that?
Or,
Talk to me, let me understand your perspective.
because when you ask questions instead of arguing, you're completely shifting the dynamic. You stay calm and avoid emotional reacting and actually take the control of the direction of the conversation as a couple. That is what makes a confident communicator. Okay, so next time this happens, instead of having your default reaction as,
Alright, how do I react to this?
it should be,
Right, what can I ask to understand this person better?
Number 5, control your body, control your mind. Now, when you want to think faster and speak with confidence, the most overlooked factor is how you actually control your body. Now, most people won't even realise that they're fidgeting, they're shifting, and they're moving a lot when they're in a conversation. And that happens. Look, we all get nervous, we all want something to grab onto, it feels a lot safer. But what you don't realise you're doing is you're pulling your mind's focus inwards rather than outwards and focusing on what the other person is doing.
How do I look right now? Am I moving a bit weird? What should I do with my hands?
All that's doing is distracting your mind to think about you rather than the actual conversation, which doesn't give your mind the clarity it needs to be able to think faster and think clearly. So next time you're in a conversation, I want you to try and move with intention. Okay, don't move unnecessarily. Use your hand gestures and your body movements to support your words, not distract them. Number 6, make sure you're speaking loud enough the entire sentence. Now, most people don't actually realise they're making this mistake, but as they're talking, they start off really loud, and then all of a sudden, when they can hear themselves a little bit more, they don't like that.
It was so funny. So basically, I was going to the toilet, and then I didn't realise that I saw like a tiny little like spider there.
Let's compare that, for example, to...
It was such a funny story, right? So I didn't realise it at the time, but I was going into the toilet and I saw like a spider there.
You see how much more confident you sound just by keeping your voice at the same volume. Now, a good exercise I like to do for this is just spend some time every day, every couple of days, whatever it is, just recording yourself. Because a lot of people don't realise they do this. Subconsciously they do it without realising, and the best way to do this is just to record yourself talking for 5 minutes and listen to how the volume of your voice changes. Now, confident speakers actually use the volume of their voice very well and strategically. Like, for example, you can't just speak at the same tone of voice all the time. Sometimes you've got to lower it, and then you've got to engage the audience a bit more by highering your voice and then re-engage them by changing the tone of your voice, right? But in normal conversations, most of the time, we do start with a higher voice and then we just naturally lower it and lower it and lower it as the conversation continues. So record yourself, try and speak at a higher volume. It will feel uncomfortable, but trust me, it's not uncomfortable because it's wrong. It's just uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar and you've never done it before. Number 7, finally, story training. Now, I probably think the biggest thing that separates like good communicators or average communicators and really confident speakers is their abilities to storytell. Now I know what you're thinking. Tom, I've got no fun stories to tell. But what makes those confident communicators so good is that within their days, they find daily, fun, exciting things that happens within their day that you might think is insignificant. They turn them into fun, engaging, exciting stories. It's not always about talking about the massive moments that people aren't going to relate to. The best storytellers nitpick the very simple things that you might ignore in daily life. Those are the stories that make better stories than the one-off stories that you've got, where you and your friends went naked and ran down a beach and then a crab bit you. I don't know. And this whole everyday life stories thing kind of drew attention to the fact that a lot of the time, every single day, when somebody asks me how my day is, I'm always saying, oh, it's fine, or yeah, it was good. Anything good happen? No. Tell me about your day. Oh, well, not much, just went work and that's it. That's not going to make you a fun person to talk to or a good storyteller. Try and find things every single day, just little things with it. It doesn't have to be significant, just something that might make a better story or be an interesting conversation to have. I started doing this really fun thing every day called #MakeAMemory, where every single day I've got to go out and make a brand new memory. That to me is a brand new story where I can say, today I went out and did this, right? So thank you very much for watching. I really hope this helped. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. I've actually got a free training if you do want 5 free videos I filmed. If you sign up to my email list, if you go onto my website, there'll be free training right there. Put your email in, you'll get the guide. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Take care.